Hello everyone and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm trying to give you an insight what it would be like if you took GCSE Textiles. So my hope is to show you a GCSE example book. So this is actually a book which I've been working on in lockdown with the GCSE students, so it shows you what they are currently working on. And then I'm going to play you a short video that shows you an example of a practical task that we have completed since we've been in lockdown. This is a task that we would again be completing at school, excuse me, as well as giving you an opportunity if you want to attempt that task at home yourself and have a taste of a practical element of textiles. So let's get started. So I'm just going to talk you through this video. So in this video, I've got the sketchbook, which I've been working on, as I said, with my Year 10 textile class. And it is all based on the theme of reflection. So always in a sketchbook, we always start with a title page. So that's what I've completed here. And then we move on to a mind map and a mood board. Now, in this sketchbook, I decided to combine these two together. So a mood board is images which inspire or link to your project of reflection or whatever that project may be titled. And then the words or the mind map is just words that link to that theme. So I've got things like mirrored, water, light, paint, bright, reflection, kaleidoscope. And then I've got names of artists, so Damien Hirst, timorous beasties, things like that. So essentially it shows the person looking at your book what your overall theme is. And then we've started with some drawing. So as I said previously, in textiles we still do drawing, and this is a little drawing workshop we've completed. So we've done a continuous line study, we did a multiple pen study, so you tape different pens together, we did an opposite hand, and then a collage. We've worked from a series of images, so we've got a piece by Michael Brennan Wood, and then 3 images that I've taken that link to the theme of reflection using an app to make some things inside my house look like a kaleidoscope. Then I went on to research the artist Michael Brennan Wood. Now, obviously, as I said, there is a written element, so we either write about our work and what we've done, or we are writing about an artist's work, and that's exactly what I've done there. And then I've taken some images again around my house linking to Michael Brennan Wood's work but creating my own personal response, and this is something you would have touched upon in art at Key Stage 3. Then we move on to look at another artist. Okay, again this artist still links to our theme, and this is a printed artist. So I've researched the artist and I've documented that research in my book, and then I've created a series of responses to this artist working in her style. I've used different mediums, so I've used some watercolour, I've used some acrylic paint, and then I've also had a go at using some coffee staining. I've annotated all of that, and then I've got the 2 pieces that I've worked into using a pen. I've taken these different designs from the work by the artist, all linking it together. I then, on this flap, I've annotated and I've included 2 images that I've taken myself that I feel link to the artist's work. Then I've moved on and we've done another printed workshop, and this time we've looked at the technique of string pulling. Again, this allows you to create a reflected image, and I've explored using coffee and ink for this. Just obviously while we're at home, I'm not sure what equipment everybody has, so I'm trying to use materials that maybe are slightly more unconventional but everyone has at home. I've then stitched into this piece, developing those patterns that I looked at on the last page. And then I've moved on to the artist Timorous Beasties. So I felt like his work combined the 2 different art styles I looked at so far. And as I'm showing you here, there's links there. So I'm just showing you the references and where those ideas have generated from. And this is the same work that all the Year 10s have been doing in their sketchbook. We're all doing the same project and following along with the different tasks that I'm setting. So I'm just showing you how I feel like this artist linked really nicely to the work that we've done. And then I went on to do a final printed page, and this was all about combining those 2 styles together, so the string pull printing and then also the folded splattered printing. And this is the task I've actually filmed a video for you to see how I've created this, and this is the task I'm sort of suggesting that if you want to have a go at a practical element of textiles, that this be the one that you do. So in textiles we still always look at artists and we research different styles, and then we respond to them. So we do that in art now at Key Stage 3, but obviously now in textiles we're using more textile related mediums. So I'm going to move on to this next slide, and I'm going to play this video for you. Now it is a time lapse, and it shows me how I created those different examples you saw on the previous page. So obviously if this is something you'd like to have a go at, then by all means, I'd love to see the work that you could create. So let's play this for you. So I'm using paper which I'm folding, and I'm starting off by using some watercolour paints. So this is the Ragnar Moritzen inspired work where she creates the splattered prints and folds them out. So this might be something that you explore when you're in primary school, because I remember doing it when I was at primary school. But actually this is a more sophisticated way of exploring it, and it creates a really effective reflected outcome, linking really well to our theme. Now I'm doing a string pull print, so I'm just measuring out the string, dipping it in some ink, taking any excess off on a bit of kitchen roll, putting it inside the paper and then pulling it, applying pressure with a book on top. I've put those all to one side and I'm just letting them dry while I create some more. This time I looked more at Timorous Beastie's work and how he really dripped the paint, and that was something I wanted to explore. And now this one's dry, I've gone in with the splat method again. I'm using more of a flicking motion with my paintbrush and really just starting to build up the different layers and textures. So again, this time I'm having a go with a different colour. I'm going to do another string pull print. So I'm laying it on, put my book, pulling it, and I'm having another go. Really trying to build up those layers. I'm working back into this one again, thinking about where I'm placing it. And then I explore using bleach. Now, if you don't have to do this, but if you decide to do it at home, make sure your parent is aware. Think about the area that you're working in. Obviously, bleach takes the colour out of something. It isn't necessary to do this, but I really liked the effect that it created. But obviously, if you decide to do bleach, make sure your parent is aware, ask their permission first, and make sure you're working in an area that's well ventilated and it's safe to work with bleach, so you don't, take the colour out of anything at home that you shouldn't. So those are my 3 examples there you can see that I created. All a combination of string pulling and splatting, and hopefully you can see how those link to the work of Timorous Beasties. And if you want to have a go, as I said, at that technique and this workshop which we do in textiles, then I would love for you to have a go and see what you can create. So if you would like to have a go, I've put on this slide a few things that you might need. So you'd need some string, you need some scissors, you'd need paper, the paper obviously to print on, but also some paper towel. It's really helpful that when you do the string print, if you put the string into the pot of whatever you're going to use, so you could use coffee, so a teaspoon of coffee with a little bit of hot water, mix it together, you can put the string in and stain it that way. But once you've taken the string out, I would always put it onto some paper towel and just take some of the excess off. I tend to find the second print works better, so once you put it between the paper and pull it, if you then put it straight again onto another bit of paper without putting it back into the solution that you've added the colour with, so say it was coffee, don't put it back in the coffee, put it straight onto another bit of paper and pull it. I tend to find that second print is more clear, it adds more detail, it has more texture, so it's slightly more successful. I used obviously a paintbrush when I was doing the splatting, but if you don't have a paintbrush, you could use some kitchen roll, you could put it into coffee or squash, like cordial that you drink, or even if you've got like some beetroot at home, like the vinegar in the beetroot, if you don't have any paints at home, is a really strong colour, and that works quite well if you want to, get a really nice vivid purple or pink. And you could just literally soak some of that with a tissue and then just, stipple it on and dab it. You could use, if you didn't have a paintbrush, what's it called, a toothpick or an old toothbrush or an earbud. It's anything really just to be able to apply the paint to the paper itself. So I've put a few other examples there. You could use ink, you could use coffee, you could use watercolour, you can have paint, so acrylic paint, you could use food colouring, really whatever you've got at home and you have available to you. Obviously that's all going to be dependent on the equipment you have. And like I said, if you do have a go at this, whether it is just doing a bit of the string pull printing or just the splatting on its own without combining the two together, I love to see the outcomes that you've created. And hopefully this has given you a bit of an insight into what we do in textiles at GCSE level. Hopefully by seeing the sketchbook you've seen as well that there is that written element. You do have to present your work. You can see how we're linking and flowing the work through from linking to artists through to development of ideas and combining them together. So essentially your book is just a constant flow and a constant journey of the work that you can create. I really hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got any further questions, then obviously, as I said, my email address is on the screen there, and you can send any questions that you have. And if you complete the work, I would love to see it. I hope you have a nice day, and I hope this has been really helpful. Bye, everyone.